Hello, friend. So here's our latest installment of using Obsidian for business owners and crazy entrepreneurs that great visionaries, but struggle with managing details. And it's also just fun for if you love to learn, managing your knowledge. So, okay, if you've seen my other videos, you know that how to install a vault, how to get it up and running, how to install a community plugin. And we're going to build on that node base that we've had, and I'm going to walk you through now the next most powerful plugin that we can use. Okay, so let me show you how this works, how I use it. Okay, so I use the power system, and so one of the things I often struggle with is travel details. I've gotten a lot of trouble with travel over the years. So let's say I'm going to go to Atlanta to give a talk. I live in Phoenix. So getting to Atlanta is like, I got to plan for that travel. So I can create a new note, I call it Travel Atlanta. Okay. And then I'm going to use a template that I created, insert new template. And I've got a travel template, and bang. Now what I have is a template that I've created over time because I need to know all this information before I go somewhere. You know, I've had so many dumb problems, like go to a conference and I forgot they mailed me my badge and I didn't bring it with me, and that's a problem. So this allows me over time to gather all the information necessary for me to travel in one spot. Somebody emails me a document, I can post a link to, where it is on my OneDrive or my Google Drive here. So this is sort of my one source of truth about my travel to make sure I know what's going on. And I'm going to use a thing up here, like why am I traveling, is to give a talk to Atlanta. So it's a quick comment to make it better. And when am I going to go? So I'm making this up. I don't really have a talk I'm giving right now, but let's say I'm going to go next February, and I'll pick some random date. I haven't even looked at it. And I'll come back probably a couple days later. It's a great town. So let's say I want to stay, hang out, meet some friends. And so I've just bracketed it. But as I would do like airline research and tickets, and all that information is going to be stored in here. Now, one of the things about this template I want to point out is there's this little thing called travel card. It's a tag. We haven't talked about tags. So let's talk about the interface a little bit. In the upper left-hand corner of your Obsidian is this collapsible folder. It says, hey, look at what we can do. And you get files, search, and bookmarks. I spend most of my time with files open. On the right side is something similar. We saw that with backlinks. What refers to this? Forward links. What am I linking to? And tags. And you can see there is one called Travel Card. If you click on Travel Card, son of a gun, it will pull up all the files that have that tag in them, which is really useful. But we can do better. And that's where Dataview comes in. Because I don't really want to see the template. And what isn't obvious is that when you start using the system for months and years, you archive things that are finished. Your archive trips would pop up here too. There's some utility in that, but I'm really only interested in my active trips, what I have to do in the future. So at the bottom of my template, I link to a root level file called Travel Index. So let's click on that. And what it says is it's the list of all my active trips. And it's got this little block here that says Dataview, and it just looks like a little text file. And I'm going to relabel that as SQL, because really that's what this is. It's the Dataview query language, and it's structured very much like a SQL statement. It says, from a table, I want you to grab these fields. What folder is it in? When are you leaving? Tell me the comments, but let's make that discoverable. And where are we drawing it from? The tag travel card minus the archive minus the templates. And I'm going to make a little correction here because they have to match. It should be archives plural because that's what I called it. Then I want to sort it by when I'm leaving. Now, this doesn't do anything yet. How do we make it do something? Here comes the magic. Let's go to Community Plugins. We're going to browse for Dataview. And look, it's the second one. with 952,000 downloads at the time of this recording. We're going to install it, and then we're going to enable it. Now, I'm not going to go through all the options just yet. There's just a ton of stuff in there, but out of the box, this script is going to work. So we're going to close that, close this, and now we're going to relabel this little chunk of code Dataview. And instead of it listing text, it's going to do this. Notice the template doesn't appear anymore. What you're seeing is a list of all of my active trips sorted by travel date. And so it turns out I have a trip that I'm planning on going to Seattle to visit a franchise owner in Gig Harbor. And you can click on that link and it will take you directly to that file. So these things are stored in different places. This trip is stored in my project folder. The Seattle trip is stored in my area folder because that's what it's related to. But I can now use the power of Dataview to pull that information up into a single list, and it'll even tell me where it's stored at so I know how to find it. But I can also link on it and go directly to it. So now what we're beginning to see is Obsidian, not only does it link things together, it can begin to act like a database, finding specific types of notes, specific types of information, and presenting them to you in very usable ways. And that, I find, is staggeringly powerful. So to recap, I used a template so that I never forget what kind of information I need to get whenever I'm traveling. I can put those documents wherever they make the most sense, if they're part of a project or part of an area. I can't imagine they'd be in resources, but there's no reason they couldn't. And then I can use this new plugin called Dataview to query my notes, going, just give me the notes that match these types of search, that have these types of tags or in these kinds of folders, so I can get that list. And I can even get information out of those notes presented in that list, because that's what you saw in Travel Index. You saw the leave date. You saw, what folder is it from? So I have information about the file, information in the file, in this convenient list. Super, super powerful.